Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Zoe, and welcome to another episode of Swimming Not Lying. Today, me and Chloe are going to be talking about our experiences with getting tattoos, having tattoos, tattoos we have in the books, tattoos we have thought about getting and decided absolutely not, and just all things encompassing the tattoo lifestyle. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm super excited to get into it, and if you can't tell by the sound of my voice, I'm not recording this in the middle of the night. I'm recording this at lunchtime. Yeah, your girl was on it today. But yeah, I'm super excited to get in it, so let's just do that. So in my family, it was very normal, very common to have or want tattoos. And despite of, I think, a lot of people in like our lives. And so I just was around them all the time. My dad had, I think, one or two when I was a baby. My grandma wanted some. My uncle had a few. My mom was kind of planning out one. I think my aunt hasn't gotten any yet, but it's just like the whole family, on both my mom and dad's side just is obsessed and loves tattoos. And so as a very young kid, I knew from the age of, I think, 7 that I want tattoos. And I just kind of like would draw the ones I thought I wanted, which consisted of a lot of triangles and flowers and eyeballs and just different things that I would love to draw. I would just draw them on me. So it would be a lot of forearm stuff and knees, and I would just draw all over me. And I was like, okay, I like the way this looks. I'm so going to do this when I'm old enough. And so it was really convenient having parents that were super supportive of that. And then my grandma was starting to get tattoos, I think when she was 60, and then I think she's got 2 full sleeves and chest pieces and ankle pieces. Like, my grandma was tatted. And so I just knew no matter who I went with or who I talked to in my family, it would be supported and it would be encouraged. And so when I want to say 16, I asked for my 18th birthday present to be a tattoo, but I was going to be moving across the country at 17 and turning 18 in Australia. So that wasn't exactly practical. So my parents decided that if I drew a tattoo when I was 16, still liked it when I was 17, that we would all get it together. And so we did. So my first tattoo was when I was 17, and it's a piece right underneath, like, the elbow crease. I don't know what you would want to call that, like upper forearm. And it's a cross that's like sideways. So it's going across my arm rather than going down. And it's a cross. And then above the cross on like the top part, it says God is greater than the highs and lows, but it's like Greek lettering. So it's a Greek G, and then it's a greater symbol, and then an up and down like symbol like you would see in text. And then on the bottom, there's 3 circles, and one of them is fully filled in. The other one is like shaded, and the other one is hollow. And the one that's fully filled in is me. The like shaded one is my dad, and then the hollow one's my mom, because I'm black. My dad's German and Italian, but he gets really tan in the summer. And then my mom is white. So we all have them, and it's really cool to have your first tattoo be tattoos with your family, because, I don't know, it was less scary. I think I went second or first. I can't remember, to be completely honest with you, but it did not hurt at all. Like, it has that, like, feeling of, like, oh, that's a little bit ouch, but it was, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst and 1 being simple, I would say it was 10 being the worst, 1 being simple, I'd say a 2 or 3. Like, I have a very high pain tolerance, so I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I think this one was cool. It was my first tattoo. It means a lot. One, because it's the first tattoo. Second, it's important to me and my faith and stuff like that as well. Like, it's a lot of fun. I got a lot of crap from my classmates about it, because I went to a private Christian school in high school too, and I came to like prom or whatever with a tattoo, and half of my classmates were like, that's so cool, and then the other half was like, you couldn't have like waited? I'm like, no, I'm literally leaving the country in 2 weeks. No ma'am. So it was fun. I really enjoyed having it and being able to just like have it. I don't know, it was fun. I felt so cool, and I felt like kind of badass at the same time. Can't lie. But yeah, I mean, it was so much fun to get to experience the the whole process, I'm such a person that has to watch, which is so interesting. People think that it's so weird that I need to watch. I got my wisdom teeth removed, and the lady's like, I don't want you looking. I'm like, girl, if I don't look, I will pass out. She's like, no, if you do look, you will pass out. I was like, oh, you know me? We're friends? Like that? No, I have to watch. And so whenever I'm getting tattoos, I just have to watch, or I will get like anxious and shaky. And yeah, it doesn't help. I don't know why. At least more so, I need the option to be able to see. Like if I'm looking down and I can't see it, it's whatever. But I want to be able to know that I can look. So I close my eyes and I look down and it's still there. I don't know. It's weird. I think it's a control thing, to be completely honest with you. But basically, that was my first tattoo. I kind of wanted more, didn't know what I wanted, was living abroad, so I didn't have really opportunity to go and get one. So I was just kind of in this space of like, I want more, but I can't. So I just kind of planned some out. I would draw some when I was living abroad and just thinking about it. And then I would pin more and pin more and pin and pin, pin, pin. Just Pinterest was my best friend at that time. And then recently, I think it was on the weekend of Halloween, I want to say. Yeah, the weekend of Halloween. I went to a work thing, basically where we host like a trunk or treat kind of a situation at the camp, and you decorate a cabin, you hand out candy. It's a lot of fun. And a bunch of my friends after were like, hey, we're gonna go get tattoos later, you want to come? I'm like, yeah. I am so down. I'm always down for a spontaneous tattoo. So I went with a bunch of the guys from my work, and I was the first one to get there because I live the closest. And so I'm already laying down in this chair, and I got a cactus, and I'm laying down, and I'm laying there, and I'm just getting tatted. And apparently they all walked in, and I'm not moving. I look like I'm probably dead, but I'm talking to the tattoo artist, who's also a friend, and she's like, you're taking like a champ. I'm like, hey, I'm a girl. I gotta deal with other things monthly that are way worse than this. This is nothing. This ain't nothing but chicken wing. I'm just chilling right now. And it was a get what you get. So you roll and you get what you get. And it was really fun. Like it's a really fun little tattoo. It's cute. It's a little cactus. And I'm, born in California. California, I guess, is technically a desert. I don't know. But I love him. It's a little succulent dude. I was gonna name him, but I forgot to, so don't ask me what his name is. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's so much fun to have people that that are tattoo artists, and she was apprenticing at the time. I think she still is. And so I was like, girl, I know that you're learning. I would love to be a canvas. I don't care. I think tattoos are fun in the sense of like, I don't know. I think if you think things through and you know what you want, that's also cool, but also living spontaneously is really fun, because I feel like looking back at this when I'm 45 and I have kids, I'm like, here's a tattoo that I got. And if my kids want to be a tattoo artist and they need someone to practice on, hi, I'm your mother. I will totally do it. And I think I don't know, I love supporting people and their businesses and endeavors, and no matter what it is they're doing. And I'm always willing to be a guinea pig on things. So I think it's fun. I think it was a cool time. And I just loved hearing all of the guys be like, you were just laying there. Like nothing mattered. Like you were just chilling. And like, you weren't even flinching. You didn't even look like you were in pain. And this one did hurt a little bit more, but it wasn't that bad. Like, if I flinched, it was like a wince in my face, and that's literally it. I was like, I'm not moving. If I move and something happens, that's my own fault. So I think that's one of the reasons I just like stay strong, is I know that if I move, it's not her fault, it's mine. And then if someone goes, oh, your tattoo looks like ass. Yeah, I moved. It's my own fault. But it was a lot of fun. And so I went there with my friends from work. And then one time, I can't remember when we went. I went with Chloe. Oh, we did go, I think. I don't know. It was like a Friday or Saturday night, I believe. And Chloe wanted to go get a tattoo, which she will explain about, which I'm excited for y'all to hear. I won't give too many deets because that's her tat to talk about. But she wanted to get a tattoo, and I was like, I will go with you. I will be that supportive friend who sits there. And I had no intention of getting a tattoo in that day. I was just kind of there for moral bestie support. And she and I were sitting there, and I'm watching her get this tattoo, and it looks super cool. Like, it's a really awesome tattoo. I can't wait for you guys to hear about it. Like, it's It's really sick. And so I'm sitting there being a supportive bestie. I've been there for both of Chloe's tattoos, and I feel very honored. But I'm sitting there just watching it all go down, and it's super cool. And my friend goes, "Do you want one?" My friend who's a tattoo artist, and goes, "Do you want one?" I was like, "Yeah, but like I don't have the piece that I have that I want, and like I just don't really have the money for it right now. Like I don't have the cash on me, and if I did, I don't have the money for it right now." And she's like, "No, you're fine. Like I got you." I was like, "Girl, like I'm not gonna let you give me a free tat. I can't do that." And I was like, "It's fine. Like it's no big deal." She's like, "It's fine. Like, what do you want?" And I was like, "I have a piece that I drew. It's supposed to look kind of dorky and dumb, and I love it. But no, like it's no big deal." Fully set on not getting a tattoo and just going out, and I was super okay with that. And Chloe's like, "We're going back to your house. We're getting the picture you drew, and I'm gonna get you a tattoo." And it's really small. It's like, I'm not good at judging by inches. I'd say it's half an iPhone size. That's the best way to describe it. It's like half an iPhone 13. That's the best way I can, make it make sense. But it's really cute. His name is Delbert. He is a shark with a party hat, and I love him. And I drew him because I was like, if I'm going to get another tattoo, I want it to be kind of stupid. But I want it to be my own stupid choice. I want it to be something that I can look back and still adore. Like, I look back at my shark every single time I look at him, and I'm just so happy. When we went to Mexico for a missions trip and we were doing kids ministry, I was teaching kids English, and I was like, look around the room. What do you see? What shapes are we talking about? What shapes do you see in the room? And then this one kid comes up to me and goes, "Baby shark." I was like, "You're right." And I literally was like, "Baby shark." And all these kids are singing "Baby shark" with me. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I had some coffee this morning, if you can't tell. I've got energy. But no, the kids started singing "Baby Shark" with me. And it was so cute. And people always are like, "Wow, that's a really weird looking tat." I'm like, yeah, I wanted him to look weird. I wanted him to look a little dorky. And I named him Delbert after, it's the show that I watched called Paradise PD. It's on Netflix. And it's a really interesting show. Not like in a intriguing, like it's unique. It's strange. But I love one of the characters in the show. He's precious. His name is Delbert. And the name Delbert, if you hear the name and you think derpy and like weird, I don't know. The shark has like sharp, like dorky looking teeth and a party hat. His name is it's a Delbert looking shark. And I love him to pieces. And I think he's such a cutie pie. Yeah, those are my 3 tattoos. I have a lot that I want, which is my segue, if you will, into my other thing I want to talk about is I have a few pieces that I know that I want, like, right now. I really want a skeleton hand holding some baby's breath. I've wanted that for, I want to say a few years now, and I pinned one, but they're holding a lily, but I just think it's really beautiful. I don't know. I think that it symbolizes, I don't know what it symbolizes, to be honest with you. And I think that's one of the fun things about tattoos is they can have meaning, but they also don't need a meaning. If you just like the art and you think the art is pretty, then you can just get gorgeous art on your body. And I think that's really cool. So I know I want that. And I also have been really just obsessed with, I love anything skeleton-y. So I have a lot of skeleton related things, like a butterfly, but everything that's like in the butterfly's wings is a skeleton, a peace sign skeleton. Like I like skeleton. I don't know. I wanted that really bad. There's like a dancing skeleton I think is really, really cute. Skeletons that are dancing under a disco ball. Like I don't know. I think skeletons are cutie pies. I don't know why. Don't ask. But also there's a few that I've already have pinned that I know alongside the baby's breath and the flowers. One that I want that I just recently pinned, but it's been something that's been kind of in my mind for a very long time. And it's cool to see that other people have thought about it. And I'll explain like my process when I do Pinterest tattoos. I want to get a match on the lower part of my wrist and then have like smoke going up my arm. And that's something that I've wanted for, I think, about a month or 2. I still really like it. I'm going to let that one kind of marinate in my mind. But I think that one's never going to get old. Like, I think I'm going to love that one forever. I also really like eyeballs. I'm weird. I was that girl in class that would be doodling eyeballs. And so I have a few pieces that are eyeball related. There's one that's a flower, and the center of the flower is an eyeball. And there's one that's a candle, and in the candle there's like an eyeball. And I know I really like that. And there's some more that I have. There's just different like swirly looking things. I really like kind of like dark academia looking tattoos as well. So like busts, like head busts basically, and scales. I think those are just really beautiful, and I think it's stunning. And the hard thing is I have friends that have tattoos that I've seen on Pinterest, and I think they're so pretty, but I don't want to be that person that gets the same tattoo as my friend, and I feel like that'd be super awkward, and it just would be so strange. And I don't know, but I also just love those tattoos, and I always have loved that kind of thing, or I've always just loved those styles of things, or whatever it might be. So it's not like I'm trying to copy somebody, it's just I also like it too. I know my grandma and I are going to get a Leo tattoo, which I'm really excited about. So whether that's like a sun or whatever. But my thing is I get a lot of crap when I talk about, oh yeah, I get inspiration from Pinterest. And I'm not the person that's going to bring you a Pinterest picture. No way. So what I end up doing is I will take inspiration from Pinterest, and let's say it's the flower with the eyeball in the center, and I will take my own time and I will draw up a version that I like. So I'll get the inspiration from the one that I've seen, and then I'll do it my way. So like, for example, the one that I'm looking at right now, it's the eye. And so the flower petals on the eye are a little bit more like billowy and loopy and more like they're just more kind of like droopy is the best way to describe it. And I would probably do like a sunflower kind of petals rather than like a more like fully rounded, they'd be more pointy on the ends. But it would be a lot of trial and error and a lot of just me working on it. Same with the match. I already love the way that the match looks, but I would probably do something a little bit different. And that's the fun part about, making art is you can be inspired by so many things, and then you get to create your own version. So for the matches, I would put like a live match, if you will, like a still burning flame, and then one that's not a burning flame, and then I put them next to each other, and then from the non-burning flame, I would do the big, like, line of smoke, basically. And I think smoke is just so pretty. I don't know, like, even when, like, you blow a match out, blow a candle out, or at a bonfire, I always was that kid that was, like, not pyromaniac, just, like, I just loved being at campfires, and I loved just lighting candles and watching the matches. I don't know. I just was that child. Maybe it's the Leo in me. I don't know. But I just knew that was something I liked. And so, yeah, there's a lot of tattoos I have on here that are like, I can think of a meaning behind them for me. Like the matches, like one is dead and one is alive. But I don't know if you know this, but if you put a recently blown out candle or match next to a live one, you can technically light the smoke on fire, and then that will connect to the live flame. And so it relights the candle or relights whatever. And I think it's really cool. It's like having a person in your life that like can see you in those places where you're not doing so great, and they can help you kind of come back to life in that sense. Or religiously, it could be like, my flame was dead and I trusted in Jesus. Whatever you want it to be about. I think that's the cool thing with tattoos is that people are like, oh, what does it mean to you? I was like, well, like, I got this inspiration from like a Target ad, but it means this to me. Like, I think that's the cool thing is it's very personal to the wearer of the tat. So yeah, I think that's the cool thing. And I definitely have some tattoo pieces that are like, girl, that's not even like legit. I have a strawberry tattoo. It's a strawberry tattoo that I have pinned, and the strawberry's wearing cowboy boots. That don't mean nothing, but it's cute as hell. I have a dinosaur in a little, like, witch costume. It's got a little cape and a little hat. It's so cute. And, like, just, like, things like that. And there's some that are, like, not that deep. There's one of a little stick man, like, pushing a boulder up the hill. It's so cute. He's, like, trying. He's you try and you try again and you do your most. I think it's fun, and I would totally love to get that. And I think it's really key when you're getting a tattoo to be surrounded by people that are encouraging to you, but also aware of like the fact that it's permanent. And I've been discouraged from so many pieces of pieces of art or tattoos that I like because someone's like, are you freaking serious? Like, you actually want that on your body? I'm like, yeah, like, it's my body and I can do what I want with it. In the sense of like, I want a stick figure pushing a boulder up a hill. Who cares? Not me. apparently you, but it's one of those things you just, if you already know you want it, you've thought about it for a long time too, I've actually put some serious thought into this, and I still want it, then go and get it. Go and get it. Sometimes I think people take it a little bit too seriously when it comes to tattoos. Because even if it's not that deep, like if it's like a silly little tattoo, then it's a silly little tat. And it's cute. And it's something that means something to you in the sense of not all tattoos have meanings, but they all have stories. Like my 2 most recent tattoos do not have a meaning in sight, but I can tell you what happened that day. I can tell you why I got it. I can tell you like the experience that was leading up to it, the experience of getting it. Like I can just tell you like the whole thing about it. Like my cactus tattoo, I went spontaneously with a group of my friends from work. And then my shark tattoo, it was a spontaneous decision between me and Chloe. And so it's one of those things, like, not all tattoos have a deep meaning, but they have a story. And that's my little 2 cents. But, yeah, I'm going to pass it on to Chloe now. But I hope you guys enjoyed my section of the podcast today. And like always, just, what kind of tattoos do you have? That's the question I have for y'all. What kind of tats do you have? And, yeah, let us know on Instagram, and also let us know what you want to hear. But yeah, next up is Chloe.
Hey, so how are we doing after that first half of the episode? I bet you guys want to go get tatted right this instant after hearing about all of Zoe's. I make it sound like she's just completely inked up when that's not the case whatsoever. She just has way more compared to me because I approach tattoos with I need to have a meaning behind it. No, I need to know that I'm not going to regret it within the next 5 to 10 years. Whereas with her, she's all about the moment. And sometimes she'll just walk into a tattoo shop and be like, yeah, this is what I want to do for tonight. And, I often admire that attitude. But when it comes to this, I could never. So I only have 3. And the 2 of them, I kind of sort of consider them as just one set. It's like 2 in 1, because I have each design on my wrist. But I settled this with my siblings, and I was like, if you have 2 holes in your nose, that means that you have like 2 nostrils, they're not just one nostril. So, that kind of just blew my whole theory up. And so I have 3 tattoos, and they all hold their own significance, their own story, I guess. But that's just with every tattoo. I honestly never planned on getting tattoos to begin with. I really liked piercings, and I've always wanted piercings. I was like the edgy 3rd grader that was like, I'm gonna get a lip piercing one day. Um, but as I got older, I was like, that doesn't seem as appealing to me anymore, and I want to be wise about that too. Because my first piercing was at how old was I? I think I was 18. Gosh, I was late to the game to everything. But yeah, I told my mom I only wanted one piercing to start out with, and it was so I could place a cross, get a cross earring and place it into my right ear, and it was supposed to be symbolic for like Old Testament servanthood, because servants who were freed from their masters, um, who didn't actually want to leave their masters, would bond themselves to them by like putting a silver hoop, some type of earring in their right lobe, and that just kind of signified like their bond, and it was supposed to last a lifetime. It was kind of just like a wedding ring in that way, um and so I decided to do that with a cross, and this is supposed to kind of just like signify my bond to Christ. That's my significant meaning behind that, and that's the only reason why I have one earring in. My other one I purposely took out because I tried to explain to my mom. She didn't get it. She was like, that's so stupid. And I'm like, that's valid that you think so, but to me it means everything, and I wanted it for like the longest time, like since I accepted Christ. So I went into icing, of all places, got it pierced, and I came home and I left the lobe just heal up. I let that sucker be, and I got some cross earrings, and yeah, I've had this since I was 18, I think. 18 or 17, something around that. So that was like my first huge move. But then I slowly moved on to tattoos, and I wanted the wrist ones, like the holes that Jesus probably was like marked with on the cross. I wanted those. And I started looking into them, and I was like, how could I make this me? How could I have this and, have it mean this, but also have some of my personality mixed in. So I would like design some things, go over them, revise them, whatever. And I'm glad I sat on it for a few years before I actually went through with them, because I just got these recently. Um because like I would have never came up with these if I just went ahead with like the holes. I mean, obviously, because I would have had holes on my wrist instead. But I'm really glad I just like let that sit, and I kind of just like scrapped all my other designs, because my first tattoo, it, my first tattoo is actually a little more generic than like the Christ holes. It's a couple of birds on my back. But I'm telling you, I promise I have a story to tell for those two. And that was a little more impulsive, and I don't know, kind of along the lines of Zoe, but I don't think I'm going to regret them later. So to start with the birds on my back, I feel like I'm going to get so much crap for talking about this. Like, not even because of the story, because the story itself is like freaking awesome. I think it is, at least, because, I got to experience it for myself, sort of thing. But the fact that it's birds, and no one's gonna hear me out because here I am being some basic white girl with birds on her back. But anyway, so back when I was going through my first breakup and I was feeling all the emotions, and we know how that kind of went down if you've heard my embarrassing episode on all that jazz. Anyway, I was taking a stroll around my neighborhood, and I was just talking to God. And I would go on these strolls quite a bit, uh, because I needed to get out of my house, and I needed to be far, far away from like anything to do with my house. I felt like a loser whenever I was there. So I would just go off, and I would just take off, and I would go on a hike or whatever, and I would talk to God or listen to worship music. And so for a couple days, I'm like taking my walk and whatever, and I'm like asking him like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I'm unemployed. I just lost my whole community. My ex broke up with me, whatever, yada yada. And I'm like venting to God about all of it, filling out my list. And I notice that there's like these birds in the air, and they're circling around every time I go on a stroll. And for a while, before any of this has happened, for months now, I just kept getting this vision of this grieving man. He's on the floor, he can't get up, he's just overwhelmed with his grief. I keep getting this vision of this man, and there's like birds that are circling around him. And they kind of just like swoop down at him, but he's like so helpless, he just does nothing about it. And so I don't put two and two together at first whatsoever. I'm just like, oh yeah, look at the birds, they're circling around because they're gonna go hibernate soon. It's cold. Um and whatever. I'm being mopey, and I'm all up in my head until finally, like, I look up and I realize that they're vultures. And what I was seeing in my vision were vultures, which is so crazy. So after that, I like finally got it and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the grieving man." Like this guy that I've been seeing this entire time in my head is me. And it just felt like foreshadowing, like God was trying to warn me that this was going to happen before it actually happened, and it was so crazy to me. So once I finally like got the vision, I was like, that's it. I'm gonna get the birds tatted on my back. And that's exactly what I did. Because I thought that would be a great way to start the healing process, I guess. And so I doodled up a couple of simple vultures and I got them on my back a couple months later. And no one can really tell that they are vultures, but that's just the whole point of like the doodles. Oh my freaking gosh. No, wait. Okay. I take that back. So rewind. I actually made a doodle, like a simple doodle of the vision way back before this like happened and stuff. And so that's the same doodle I got on my back. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I feel like I now look like I'm making this up as I go. I swear this is what happened. I'm just trying to get my story straight. So I get that doodle off of my iPad and I send it in to the tattoo artist. And I'm like, this is what I want. At first, it was shaded. And I was going to get it shaded, but it tickled so much on my back, I could not stop laughing when I went in. I was like, I don't think I can sit through the shading part. That will either hurt or it will make me laugh some more. Cause like he had to like hold me down to make me stop like shaking so much. Um, but they came out really good. I was really happy with how they came out. They were super itchy after I got home. But I think altogether it came out to $85. So not too bad. Not too bad. And I'm still really happy with them. They're in a place where like you don't really notice them unless I'm wearing a shirt that's a little lower, which is good, I guess, because like no one really needs to see them except for me, or get the significance behind it except for me. But yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty cool tat story, in my opinion. My wrist tattoos, on the other hand, on the other hand, on both my hands. But anyway, um, those hurt. Those hurt so bad. It's some of the worst pain I sat through. Like, besides experiencing a severe sunburn on my back and then thinking it was a smart idea to put baking soda on that sunburn in a shower, I was 17. This has been the worst pain I've experienced yet. And I knew that it was going to be tender cuz like it's going over vein and it's also on my forearm. So I knew what I was going to get into. And I think that's one of the reasons why I put it off for so long too. But at the same time, that's also why I wanted it. That sounds really sadistic, but I don't know. I like thought to myself like obviously these are supposed to kind of be a remembrance for what Christ took for me. And if he went through so much worse, then I can take a little bit of that pain and kind of just feel it. And I did. It hurt so bad. Um and the thing about it is like the tattoo gun that she used on me, it was her first time ever using like that type of tool on anyone. And so she was like super stoked. And I agreed to it because I was like, that's cool. I could be your test dummy. I think that's neat. I could be the first patient for this. So I thought that was also cool. I couldn't pass that up. And it just gave it more of a, like, gritty effect too. Like, I'm looking at them right now, and I absolutely adore the way that they came out. A lot of people think that they looked, like, really smudged. I don't care. They're sort of how I envision them. Like, not entirely, because the original doodle I had for them was kinda crappy in comparison, to be honest, so she did a way better job. But, again, as long as I understand the meaning behind it and I like it, then it doesn't worry anyone else, you know? So, sorta similar to how I got the birds on my back after my breakup. Of course, I got these after another major, like, fallback in my life happened, which is after the death of my mom. So, I got these, like, about a month later, and it was when I was sitting home from work, so I was on leave, and I was back up in my small town and hanging out with Zoe a lot. Zoe helped me a lot during that. Of course she did. And this is around the same time that we actually started the podcast. So we just decided, like, screw it. You just want to go get tatted. And that's when she got Delbert. I'm sure she's told you all about Delbert. And this is when I got my tire treads. And I think it's super fitting because, like, Road Dog has been my nickname since I was like 11, 12 years old. And I started going everywhere with my mom because I was on independent study now. And that's just the nickname that she gave to me. And so it stuck. And then once my ex found out about it, before he was even my boyfriend, he started calling me that. And then when he started calling me that, all of his friends started calling me that. And it's like, it was just known, you know, I was Road Dog Marie. And that's why that's my handle online, and people call me that online now. And so, yeah, I was like, tire treads are just so fitting. And it kind of looks like I'm roadkill now. Because, like, when I put my wrists together, it kind of looks like I was ran over. And I like that idea so freaking much. Because that's kind of just like what my mascot Road is supposed to be. She's supposed to be like roadkill, like a dog that was like ran over. So, yeah. I don't know. I think it's cute, and the fact that she wasn't even going to allow me to pay her at all for this, I was like, ain't no way. Cause she's a part of the skating camp that Zoe works with. And so she was like, well, you're kind of like in the scene. So just go off of tips if you want. And I was like, well, then I'm giving you $150 tip. Cause ain't no way I was not gonna pay her for this, you know? Even though it took only like 10 minutes and it was the worst pain of my life, there was no way I was gonna just like walk out of there and only give her like a measly $5. And oh my gosh, to make the pain even worse, I got sick right after. And I don't know what it was. I had like the chills. I was going through it. Maybe it was like the flu. But my tattoos were barely healing around this time. And so the pain was just so much more sensitive. I felt like someone just like dug their claws into me and did not let go. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I feel like I sound like such a wimp right now. But if you don't have wrist tattoos, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So, yeah. That's my story. I hope y'all guys like it. I don't really know if I plan on getting any more tattoos. We'll just have to see. If anything, okay. I was thinking about getting a duplicate of like the tire treads across my ankles because, you know, the pain just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop me, at least. I was thinking about doing that next, so I might. And also, I think it'd be really cool to just have both like wrist and feet tattoos, kind of like Mugen of a Samurai Champloo. So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should. So, if I do have any tattoos, that will probably be my next one. That or more piercings. I don't know. I'm still praying on the piercings. Because I want all my piercings to have some type of significance too. But I don't think that me wanting an eyebrow piercing will have any other significance besides me wanting to look sexy. So, anyways, that's my spiel. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and our little stabby stories. And we will catch you next Saturday.